Here we are. We've got Shelley Tudor here. Shelley, great to have you here.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
And you're a teacher,
Yes, I am.
right? Or are you a tutor?
Both, actually. Mainly, I would say I'm a teacher.
It's interesting that that's your name and that's what you do.
Yes, yes.
How did that happen?
I always wanted to be a teacher. Actually, I wanted to be a French teacher in school, and I wasn't very good at it. So I went into business, and I worked for a large company, and I was their fleet manager. And at that time, I had roommates, and a local school, language school, was looking for placements for their students from foreign countries so that they could stay for a couple of months or a few weeks. And I got these students in, and they were complaining about big, large schools and how they didn't have enough time to talk and get there to express themselves. So it was kind of like a market research time for me, because I was able to take everything that they liked and they didn't like, and when the time came that I was outsourced, as many people are, I went back to the government and said, well, you know what, I want to be a teacher, and English is what I know the best, so why not start a business of my own? And I started teaching. But I did something a little bit different because, as I said, it was market research all that time that I was with homestay students. I decided to do something different than the large language schools. And so I did something where the students live with their teacher.
Wow.
Yes, yes. So not only are they learning English as a second language, but they're learning about the Canadian culture. They're with their teacher 24/7. You're watching TV with them, and they're going to ask you a question, and you're making Canadian food and you're making ethnic food, and they're wondering where it's coming from and how it's all done, and they're in the kitchen with you making the food. So they're
learning.
They're learning an all-around experience. And so I've had students as young as 3 years old. And I've had teachers from Mexico and Brazil, all over, as old as 82.
Wow.
I've had families with me, mother, father, children with me, and with my other teachers. And recently, I guess back in 1999, I started doing groups.
Okay.
So we get groups from other countries, and they come here and they want to see Toronto, they want to experience the culture, but they also want to learn English while they're here. So we take them on excursions, and they see Niagara Falls and see the CN Tower.
Right.
So it's a wonderful experience for everyone, including the teacher, who gets to learn about all the different cultures, and her repertoire of cooking expands as each new student comes along.
You're all learning and interacting and building relationships, but how do you accommodate all these people?
It really depends on the amount of students. We outsource to other families or other teachers that can accommodate, but I decided right at the beginning that I didn't want to have 15 students in a class unless it's a group program. But the regular program running all year long, 5 students in a class. So 5 students in a homestay, and the students get to really know each other well, interact, go out together, and they really learn a lot more. I taught for Dufferin Peel Catholic School Board, and I had to have 21 students in a class. The amount of material that I used in that class compared to my own classes, you couldn't compare it. I had to have 10 times the material when I have a class of 5 compared to when you have a class of 21.
Absolutely. How long are these, how long do people stay with you?
I've had students as short as 1 week, and then I've had students stay 6 months and then extend their visa.
Okay.
So it depends on what country they're from, and of course how much time they have available. You get some college or university students, and they come just for their vacation. And then you have business people, they may have a month off, or they may have as short as 2 weeks. So you accommodate the program to the students, and with a small class size, you can do that. If they want business English, you're going to teach them business English. If they want to learn vocabulary, that's what you're going to teach them, because you have such a small class.
No. So so they come and live with you?
Yes.
that's great. I mean, it's got to be great for you.
It is.
Because you're always changing roommates.
Yes.
And you need to enjoy
That's
that,
a good
obviously.
point. Very good point. Much better than roommates.
And I'm
Much
sure it
better.
makes you a lot more flexible too as time
Yes.
goes by. You learn about yourself and let go of probably a ton of things. And
Yes. When
Yeah.
I started out, when I was young and I had roommates, yes, you're very inflexible. And over time, you realize, you know, the toothpaste on the counter, it's not such a big deal. If
Right.
they accept my faults, then I accept
Yeah.
things that they do differently than I do.
Right.
So, and you know, maybe you'll get someone that you just don't click with, but you know, they're going to be gone in a short time. And then there are ones that I have lifelong friends.
that's right.
From all different countries now, and twice I went to Brazil for a month,
Wow.
and I didn't stay in a hotel because I visited all my students. They all wanted me to meet all their relatives and their
course.
friends. I was interviewed by the newspapers. I was on television. They just enjoy that
Yeah.
you know, we were in your country, now let me show you our country.
It keeps
Wow,
giving.
that's super excellent.
It is.
That's fantastic. So is it always English that you're teaching?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
English
you-
as a second language, business English, TOEFL, TOEIC, IELTS preparation, because there's a lot of immigrants here that want to learn to perhaps go to college or university, or they're people that want to immigrate and they need to get the IELTS score
Okay.
as well.
Now, it seems like a unique approach that you're actually bringing these people into your house.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a unique approach? Is that your idea, or?
I'm sure there are other people out there, but I'm not sure that they do it on such a business level.
Right. That's,
You know, there's maybe somebody has had a homestay before and they've had a good friendship and said, oh, come back and you can stay with me. But I'm TESOL certified, TESOL Ontario certified, so, you know, able to teach English as a second language. And, you know, I realize I started in 1999. So I know all of the things that people are expecting and want to do. It's not just you come home and, you know, the host family is more attentive to their children and their family.
Right.
Well, it's me. So I am the one that is the mother, father, you know, friend.
the go-to.
Yes, so
Yeah.
I take them when I go shopping. I go to the movies. Do you want to go to the movies with me? When we go shopping, we can incorporate a part of a class. And, oh, what is this called? I don't know what that's. Oh, do you know what this department is?
Which is great. I mean, sometimes it's much better to be learning a language, not in a classroom
living.
environment,
Right.
but in a real
Yes.
life situation.
And what I find is the students are much more relaxed because they've all gone through the classroom situation where they've got the blackboard and the desk and everybody's regimented in a classroom. Well, we sit on the couch. You can sit in a comfortable chair. You can sit at the dining room table. We can get up and get a coffee, you know, whenever you want. It's not so regimented. So when a student comes already from another country and they're going to be in a house of someone that they don't know, in a culture they don't know, they're so nervous. And so if you can release some of that pressure and that nervousness and the stress by saying, oh, you know, roll out of bed, put on your pajamas at least, and come down to class, you know, it's a much more relaxed experience. And that opens up those closed doors to communication. When we get frightened, we close some of those doors. And if you can open those doors up, the material comes in much faster and
registering
easier,
it.
and they retain it better.
Who's on your team? Because you said we a few times.
I
so-
have a lot of contract teachers that I would use,
Okay.
but I'm basically it for the basic regular program. When I get into groups and so on, then I call on some of those people that are as well certified ESL teachers.
And then do they
That's
stay
great.
at their house?
They can, depending on if I don't have enough room. I can
Okay.
take 14.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where do you
14.
live?
That's great.
Mississauga, Mississauga, near Meadowville Town Center. So it's safest city in Canada.
Really?
It is.
Mississauga?
Can you believe it?
didn't know that.
Yes, safest city. We've got, you know, Hurricane Hazel taking care of
Yeah,
us.
if you don't watch it, Hazel gets you.
That's it. That's it. You have to watch out for her.
Yeah.
But lots of things to do in Mississauga. So we've got probably in first week of June is going to be the what is it called? Carasaga the Multicultural Festival.
Right.
And then so close to Toronto, they walk one block and they can take the GO train to Toronto, get a city pass, go around or get on one of those hop-on, hop-off buses and see the city. I always go to Niagara Falls and Niagara and the Lake with them,
That's
so
great.
they experience some of that.
And so do you, because otherwise you'd probably never get to see Niagara Falls, right?
Oh, right. The casino, I think they know me by name now, probably. But they enjoy that, and we try to incorporate a lot of different activities so that they can really learn about Canada. There's a Chinese tour to go to Montreal, Kingston. If they want to go to Quebec City and Ottawa, they can take that tour. And if they want to go to the United States, I assist them with finding the information, or if they want to go to a gym while they're here, if they're here long enough, they want to go to a gym.
Right.
I would help them find the information for that as well.
Well, it's making you a more resourceful. You're not just a teacher, you're everything in one, which is great. And in the process, I'm sure you're making a lot of other connections.
Well, actually, in Mississauga, I don't have permission for this, but I assume it's okay. There's a church, Grace Church in Mississauga, and on Thursday nights, my students are allowed to go to their English cafe. And so their purpose is to bring in immigrants or foreign students that want an extra hour, hour and a half to meet other people, but to also have a small class.
Sometimes it's good to just practice, right?
Yes.
Not to be taught, but to just
Well, I think that's the situation with a lot of foreign students, and even immigrants. When they come, I say, you have to dedicate yourself to English, because if you go to classes, English classes, and then you go home and speak your language, how long is it going to take you? So a lot of foreign students recognize that. They say, well, I can continue to study English in my country, but where am I going to practice? So you come to Canada, you learn English, and you get to practice with fellow students, with your homestay, in public, going shopping, doing whatever you want. And that's where you get to practice, because you're immersed in it. You turn on the radio, you turn on everything. Yes.
When you're interacting, you remember. It's not textbooked or memorizing.
Right. And we focus on communication. We focus on vocabulary and pronunciation, so that, and listening. So you're out in the public, you are able to understand what someone is saying, and you're able to communicate with enough vocabulary. And I don't say to people, I don't want you to speak exactly like I do. I don't want you to have the same pronunciation as I do. Many people are talking about accent reduction. Well, to hear English spoken in an accent is beautiful. So long as it's not such a strong accent that you can't understand them. So to work on pronunciation so that you're understood, but even though they have a beautiful accent when they speak English, why not?
Absolutely. It gives a character.
Yes.
And
So, and I understand you're also doing a course, or at least some kind of a course on yesfreeclass.com, is that right?
On,
Yes, free class?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am starting to now use the internet, which I've used it for my website, but I haven't gone much further than Facebook and my website. And I found that website, and I started to, one of my students, and here's another sharing of information. He got a beautiful new camera, and he videotaped me, and we uploaded to that website and to YouTube. And so now I'm starting to do more lessons that I can upload now, and people can take advantage. I'm struggling to get it up on YouTube, but I have something on just as simple as how to set a table setting and what each piece is called and where you put it in a table setting. So if
That's a
YouTube
great
ever
idea.
gets moving, it'll be loaded, but I've tried for a week. It's not happening.
I'll have to
Sometimes
check that
it's
out, because I just put the knife and the fork and the spoon. I'm always going, is that right? I don't know.
And if all else fails, I got fingers,
Fried chicken.
That's right. That's
Fried
right.
chicken. Now you're talking, Shelley, because Liquid Lunch is almost over.
Yeah.
Okay, so thanks for coming in today.
It was a pleasure.
And so,
Sounds
who should get in
exciting.
touch with you? I mean, people, I don't know if they're watching this, if they're all over the world and they want to come to Toronto and speak English, but...
They can email me at abcesl@hotmail.com. They can go to my two websites, www.abceslcanada.tk or www.abceslcanada.free.me.